Chapter 20 of the 14th Goldfish, The Mad Scientist. Halloween's coming up fast. This is the first year that I won't be going trick-or-treating. The town likes to keep older kids off of the street, so there's a dance party at the youth center on Halloween night. In science class, Mr. Ham is already getting into the spirit of things. His tie has skeletons on it. "Are you going to the Halloween party?" I asked Momo. She just shakes her head. "I have to take my little brother trick-or-treating," she says. I ask Raj at lunch if he is going. "Sure I am," he says. "Halloween is the best night of the whole year. You got to dress up." "Please," my grandfather snorts. "It's Halloween for you every day, Raj." I decide that I want to go, but I don't know what to wear. For the past few Halloweens, Brianna and I have coordinated our costumes, but I don't need a PhD to tell me that she and I will not be doing the whole buddy costume thing this year. My mom offers to take me to the high school so I can look through the wardrobe closet at the theater. "I have a great hippie costume for my production of Hair," she tells me as I rummage through the rack of clothes. I just shake my head no, it's not for me. For my parents, costumes are no big thing. It's part of their job, like a uniform. But I think what you wear on Halloween is important. It says something about you and who you are and what you want to be. There's got to be a reason so many girls go around dressed like princesses or witches. I dig through and then I see it. I know instantly that it's perfect for me. I don't know why I didn't think of it to begin with. On Halloween night, I hole up in my room getting dressed. When I make my grand entrance, my mom and Ben are already sitting on the porch with big bowls of candy on their laps, and they're in costume too. She's dressed as Little Bo Peep, complete with a crinoline skirt and a shepherdess crook, but it's Ben's costume that makes it. He's dressed up like a sheep. He's wearing a fluffy white costume and has a sign on his chest that says, "I'm not lost, I just hate asking for directions." "Bah," Ben says. I laugh, but my grandfather just shakes his head like he doesn't understand. "Are you supposed to be Einstein?" Ben asks me. I'm wearing a white lab coat and a crazy bushy white wig, and I have thick glasses, and I'm holding a test tube full of a glow-in-the-dark green paint. "No, just your basic mad scientist," I tell him. My grandfather told me that he was too old for Halloween, so he's wearing his usual outfit. Polyester pants, button-up shirt, and cardigan, black socks, and loafers. I convinced him to wear a neon orange ponytail holder so he would look a little Halloweeny. "Don't tell me," my mom teases him. "You're supposed to be an old man." My grandfather scowls at her. Ha ha. Ben greets trick-or-treaters while my mom takes us over to the youth center. I wait for Raj outside and check out our costumes. There's a lot of sexy-looking angels and devils. My favorite is two kids who are dressed up as Dorothy and the Tin Woodman, except they've switched it up. The boy is Dorothy and the girl is the Tin Woodman. My grandfather asked, "Do you think they'll have caramel apples?" The flyer said that there would be food. Why? "Well, I haven't had a caramel apple in years," he says. Raj walks up, and he's not wearing any black at all. In fact, he's wearing green chino pants and a pink polo shirt that has a collar turned up. A white sweater is tied around his shoulders, and his belt has wells on it. He's traded in his black Doc Martens for brown loafers with no socks, and he's dyed his hair blonde and combed it back. I hardly even recognize him except for his piercings. "What are you supposed to be?" He sticks his hands in his pockets and slouches. "Preppy," he says. I laugh. My grandfather ships awkwardly. "So, what do we do now?" "I think we're supposed to have fun," I say. "Fun? Well, that's a waste of time," he grumbles. We pay our money and head inside. It's dark and the music thumps out of the stereo. Black lights and orange day-glow decorations are everywhere. There is a strobe light and a few fog machines. My grandfather heads straight for the food, and we trail after him. "No caramel apples? It's a sad state of affairs when you can't have a caramel apple on Halloween," he says. I feel twinges of unease now that I'm here. I'm not much of a dancer, even though I've taken ballet, tap, and jazz. My parents are big believers that all theater people should know how to dance. It's the whole being on stage thing. I always freeze up and overthink the steps and how I am going to look. It's hard to relax when everyone is watching you. A bouncy pop song comes on. Want to dance? Raj asks. My dancing days are over, my grandfather replies. Not you, Raj declares. Ellie. I feel my cheeks heat up. Sure, I whisper. I don't know if it's the music or the dark or the safety of the costume, but the nervousness I usually feel stops when I step onto a dance floor, melts away, and I find myself jumping and twirling next to Raj. The music pounds like the pulse from the floor, and it's so loud I can't think. It feels like the undertow of an ocean, and I just get swept along, everything reduced to senses. The sticky heat of the air, the brush of an elbow, the flash of a strobe light. I'm a jellyfish glowing in the dark sea, bright and brilliant, just waiting to be discovered. When the music stops and my eyes meet Raj's, and we both gasp, grinning at each other. And then I look around for my grandfather. He's slumped in a chair on the side of the room. His head is nodding in his chest. He's fast asleep, just like an old man. Chapter 21, Candles. When I wake up, rainbow-colored helium balloons are bouncing on my ceiling, and I'm not 11 anymore. I haven't grown overnight or changed any in a physical way, but I feel different. Everything feels different. My mom walks in carrying a phone. It's your dad, she says, and hands it to me. Happy birthday from Houston, he calls. Over the line. How's it feel to be a wizened old age of 12? Great, I say. You know what Shakespeare said about growing old? What? When the age is in, the wit is out. Oh, I say. Huh? It's from Much Ado About Nothing, he informs me. He's saying that when you get old, you lose all your brains. Oh, that's good. Good? Sure, at least I'll have an excuse when I don't get a perfect report card, I say. And my dad laughs. When I open my locker at school, there's a birthday card waiting on me from Brianna. I can't help but remember last year when she decorated my desk with crepe paper and flowers and bought a whole box of cupcakes. The card seems a little sad, but the day gets better. At lunch, Raj hands me a present with a pink bow. Hey, he says, happy birthday. Well, how'd you know, I ask. My grandfather taps his chest. I told him, of course. I open the box and grin. It's a burrito from my favorite Mexican place. This is great. Thanks, I tell him. He blushes a little and looks away. When I was a kid, there wasn't this much hoopla about birthdays, my grandfather says across the table. You all want a ticker tape parade. Everything's too much with this generation. You're part of this generation now, Raj says. I notice that grown-ups don't seem to get excited about birthdays as kids do. My mom jokes that she stopped counting them, which makes me think. How many candles will you have on your candle this year? I asked my grandfather. What, he asks. For your birthday, because of T. Malvinus, I explain. Will you have 77 candles or 14? My grandfather blinks and then says, I don't believe in birthdays. My mom is a little surprised when I request French food for my birthday dinner. French, not Mexican, she asks. French, I say, and my grandfather gives me an approving look. The French restaurant where we go to dinner is small and intimate. The napkins are thick and ironed, and the waiter sweeps the crumbs off the table with a fancy little knife. I order coq au vin, and it's delicious. The waiter gives us a bowl of sorbet between our courses, but the best part of the meal is the end. Instead of a dessert cart, the waiter wheels out a cheese cart. There must be 20 kinds of cheese to choose from. Pasture would be impressed. Then my mom breaks out the present from her and my dad, a gift card to a place at the mall that sells hair accessories. A puzzle with a picture of a unicorn, 1,000 pieces, and a cell phone. There is a cute There is a cute pink case with glitter. Finally, I say, thanks. My mom smiles. Use it wisely, she adds. Don't go over your minutes. My grandfather hands me his present. It's a big box wrapped with a shiny silver paper and a white bow. I tear the paper away and gasp in delight. It's a microscope. It's a pretty good one, practically professional, my grandfather says. I stare at the box. It feels like I've been officially ushered into the secret society of scientists. My grandfather points out the features: binocular eyepiece, halogen light, 4 objective lenses, and of course, I will teach you how to use it. Oh, thank you, I tell him, and my throat feels thick. This is the best present ever, I say. Well, good, he says a little gruffy. I'm glad you like it. My mom watches this byplay with a funny look. I thought the cell phone would be the best present ever, she says. After dinner, the waiter brings a cake. There are 13 candles, 12 pink, plus 1 with a rainbow candle to grow on. The whole restaurant sings happy birthday to me. I lean in and blow out my candles. One refuses to go out, and it takes 3 tries before it's finally out. That night, I fall asleep dreaming of candles. Hundreds of candles. They burn on and on, bright and defiant, not ever going out.